Hey guys, Fletch Football Observer here, and today's video is going to be another Premier League preview show previewing Game 7 of the 2019-2020 season. This round of fixtures throws up some quite interesting ones, some big ones, and hopefully some entertaining ones at that. And in this video, I'm going to be previewing all the games that this round has to offer. So without further ado, let's begin. We're going to begin with arguably the biggest game of the round, and it's taking place on Monday night as Arsenal travel to Manchester to take on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United at Old Trafford. Last time out, United suffered a loss to West Ham as the Hammers ran out 2-0 winners on Sunday, whilst on the same day, Arsenal won their game, twice coming from behind to eventually beat Aston Villa 3-2. Will United bounce back here, or will the Gunners heap more pressure onto Solskjaer and more misery onto United? This is clearly a big game for both sides, and even more of a difficult game to call for a spectator. United are unpredictable. They haven't at all reached their potential yet. They're lacking creativity, they're lacking a cutting edge, and are essentially quite boring right now, you have to say. Whilst Arsenal are looking to be exciting going forward, but defensively they're still poor, and this could be a very high scoring game and could go any which way. I mean, I know United normally turn up for this game more than most, regardless of their previous form, but with how both sides are, it's going to be close. My prediction is that this game will end 2-2. I could see Arsenal possibly nicking it, but I'm going to call it right down the middle in this game, that this is mainly going to be attack versus defence for both sides. I'll also state that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Daniel James will both score for their respective clubs. Sheffield United welcome Liverpool to Bramall Lane in our next fixture. The Blades defeated one Merseyside club in their last Premier League outing when they beat Everton at Goodison Park last weekend by 2-0, whilst Liverpool still remain perfect with 6 wins in 6 games, with their latest victory coming against Chelsea, where the Reds were victorious by 2-1. Will the Blades pull off an upset here, or will Liverpool maintain their perfect start? It's difficult to see anything other than a Reds win here. We know Sheffield United won't lie down and roll over for Liverpool. We've already seen this season that they will fight for everything. But the quality and cutting edge that Liverpool possess surely will see them win here and maintain their perfect start. Therefore, I'm going to predict a 3-0 Liverpool win with Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino both among the goals. Goodison Park plays host to our next game as Everton host Manchester City in Saturday's evening fixture. Last time out, Everton suffered a loss to Sheffield United as the Blades won 2-0, while City demolished Watford in emphatic style with an 8-0 victory over the Hornets as they continue their pursuit of Liverpool at the top of the table. Will the Toffees get back to winning ways and upset City here, or will City continue their chase of Liverpool? To put it simply, Everton are certainly better at home than they are away. They have many defensive issues that need to be addressed as soon as possible, and of course they are very inconsistent. All in all, this should point to a City win here, which is my prediction, but it's not going to be as easy as that, of course. City will be wanting to do all they can to make sure they don't fall any further behind Liverpool in the table, but with the defensive issues that they have, Everton can definitely hurt them. But can they sustain it for a full 90 minutes? I don't think so. So therefore my prediction is a 4-1 City win, with Sergio Aguero continuing his goal scoring run and Kevin De Bruyne continuing to rack up more assists. Our next game sees the Foxes host the Magpies as Leicester take on Newcastle at the King Power Stadium. Last time out, the Foxes got back to winning ways in the league as they came from behind to beat Tottenham 2-1. Whilst Newcastle played out a dull goalless draw with Brighton last Saturday. Will Leicester make it back-to-back wins here, or will the Magpies upset the Foxes? Leicester's good start to the season got better last week with their win against Spurs, and they'll be looking for it to continue against Newcastle. There may be slight concern over James Maddison, who limped off during their win last week, but regardless, I think the Foxes should still win here. As for Newcastle, they'll need to put in a display like the one they put in against Tottenham where they won that game, and will look for the physical presence to be a strength of theirs in this game. I'm still going to say that the Foxes will win here though, and that it will be 2-1 to Brendan Rodgers' side. Our next game takes us to Selhurst Park, where Crystal Palace are set to clash with Norwich. Last time out, Palace were forced to share the spoils with Wolves following a late equaliser by Wolves, whilst Norwich lost 2-0 to Burnley. Will Palace get their third win of the season here, or will Norwich bounce back from last week's defeat? It's a difficult game to call, this one, considering how inconsistent both teams can be. They can be very good one week, and then the next week they can be poor. Just look at Norwich's last 2 league games to see what I mean. Nevertheless, my prediction for this game is 2-1 to Norwich. This game could seriously go any which way, but with Norwich's style of play and their attack, I'm going to have to give them the slight edge in this fixture. Two sides who have had very good starts to the season clash at the Vitality Stadium as Bournemouth take on West Ham in our next game of focus. Both sides were victorious in their last league game, with Bournemouth beating Southampton 3-1, whilst West Ham beat Manchester United 2-0 at the London Stadium. Will West Ham make it 6 games unbeaten, or will Bournemouth make it back-to-back wins here? A difficult game to call. Both sides have played very well so far this season, picking up some good results, but both have the potential to be inconsistent. Either way, this should be a very entertaining game and one that could go any which way. Therefore, my prediction is a draw for this game. I really can't call a winner, so I'm going to have to just guess that it will end 2-2 come the final whistle, with Callum Wilson and Felipe Anderson both getting on the score sheets for their respective clubs. Tottenham take on Southampton in our next game as both sides are looking to bounce back from defeats in their last Premier League games. Tottenham lost 2-1 to Leicester away last weekend, whilst the Saints lost to Bournemouth 3-1 at home. Which side will bounce back here? It's been a difficult week for Spurs and their fans. First losing to Leicester at the weekend and then being knocked out of the Carabao Cup on penalties to Colchester United midweek. There's now even more pressure riding on this game for the home side to get a victory here. As for Southampton, an average start to the season, but one they probably should have taken more points from. And when you look ahead to their upcoming fixtures, they have some pretty tough games coming up that are on the horizon. For this game though, I'm going to predict that Spurs will get back to winning ways here. I'm going to predict that Mauricio Pochettino's side will win this game by 3-1, with Son Heung-min getting on the score sheet. Molineux plays host to our next fixture as Wolves take on Watford. Last time out, a very late Diego Jota goal rescued a point for Wolves in a 1-1 draw with Crystal Palace, whilst Watford suffered an absolute hammering when they lost 8-0 to Manchester City. With both sides still in the search of their first league win of the season, will one of them finally get it in this game? As I previously mentioned, this game pits together the only 2 teams in the Premier League yet to record a single victory on the board this season. Wolves haven't been the force that they were last season, and maybe the Europa League has taken its toll on them for that, whilst Watford have already had to endure a managerial change this early in the campaign already. As for this game though, I can see Wolves stealing it, but I think I'm leaning more towards a draw in all honesty. Again, it's a difficult game to call, but I'm going to stick my neck out on the line and predict a 2-2 draw. And in our penultimate game on this list, we head to Villa Park, where Aston Villa will clash with Burnley. In their last league game, Villa lost 3-2 to Arsenal despite leading twice in that game, whilst Burnley ran out 2-0 winners over Norwich. Will Aston Villa finally get back to winning ways, or will Burnley make it back-to-back wins here? It's clearly a big game for both sides this one, especially for Villa. They'll feel incredibly hard done by so far this season that certain incidents have gone against them, as really they probably should have accumulated more points on the board. As for Burnley, they've got a fairly favourable run of games coming up from now until December and will look to take full advantage of that going forward. As far as a prediction goes for this game, I think Burnley will win this game. I'm going to give them the slight edge here, but it will be very close. It will be again unfortunate for Villa, but I think with Burnley's energy and physicality, it will be enough to see them cross the finish line, particularly later on in the game. I'm saying a 2-1 Burnley victory with Ashley Barnes back among the goals. And in our final game, we're at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea versus Brighton. Last time out, Chelsea suffered their second loss of the season when Liverpool beat them 2-1, whilst Brighton played out a dull 0-0 stalemate with Newcastle. Will Chelsea bounce back from last week's defeat, or will the Seagulls stun the Blues here? Chelsea may have lost last week, but they bounced back in style of some sorts with a Carabao Cup victory over Grimsby, in which they hammered the League Two side 7-1. Scoring goals for Chelsea hasn't been as big of a problem as I and perhaps many other people had thought it would have been this season. It's been defending them that's been a bit of an issue. As for Brighton, an inconsistent start. They haven't won since the opening day of the season, and they're creating plenty of chances but then just not putting them away clinically enough, and therefore this could make for an interesting game. My prediction is that the Blues will win here, and I'm going to say a 3-1 Chelsea victory with Tammy Abraham back among the goals for Frank Lampard's side is how this game is going to play out. And that wraps up this Premier League preview show for Game 7 of the 2019-2020 season. Guys, if you have any thoughts, comments or predictions of your own on any of the round's fixtures, I'd love to read them in the comments section below. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things would be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch Football Observer. This has been another Premier League preview show, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video.